Welcome, everybody. Have you experienced some sort of burnout in your life? Are you feeling that burnout, which shows up as all sorts of emotions, burnout, anxiety, overwhelm, stress, frustrations, all of those sorts of things, right? They show up in so many ways. And I know because as a parent, as an entrepreneur, or maybe someone who's working away, in a 9-to-5 in some sort of a corporate job, like that burnout can set in so many ways. But have you also noticed, if you step back and look, that there's burnout happening not just for yourself? Maybe there's burnout in your relationships and the people closest to you. Burnout with your spouse in the conversations you have. Maybe you're feeling that burnout where you're displaying and showing the burnout to your family, to your children. Maybe you see the burnout impacting your business partners, your clients, your team, your employees, like the people around you. Because guess what? They feel that burnout. When you're in a burnout mode, they feel it. But sometimes it's that they're experiencing the burnout because of you. One of the most common things that creates burnout for yourself and those closest to you is the fact that you're trying to be perfect in everything that you're doing. I want to have the perfect household, perfectly clean, the perfect family structure. We want to have that perfect vacation that everyone else has. I want to have the perfect business model, the perfect emails going out, the perfect presentation, video, social posts. I want to show up perfect in this meeting. Perfectionism is burning not only you out, but it is burning out everyone around you. And we want to talk about how you can stop that, because you can't make an impact. You can't use your gifts and superpowers that only you have to make the impact that only you can make right now if you are burning yourself and those around you out in this sort of a way. Like I said, I get it, because I've been there myself. Like I personally, I thought like being perfect was how I would show love and respect. It wasn't just that I was trying to be perfect, like for a ego thing. Like it was my way of showing love. Like that, my family, showing it to them, my team, my clients, like they needed the flawless version of me, like to feel the value that I could bring. And so I tried to be that person where I don't know if you have ever done this. Maybe you rewrite emails multiple times, or something goes out unexpectedly. I work with a lot of small businesses and entrepreneurs, like in their systems will trigger something that they didn't expect to send. And they're like, oh my gosh, this thing went and they're worried about what that looks like. Maybe you're tweaking presentations that you're going to be giving until 2 a.m. or obsessing over every little detail, trying to control every little outcome. And honestly, like I did that. I believed that the worth I had depended on never making the mistakes, never showing the weaknesses, never letting anyone know that I was struggling. I had to be the perfect version. And as a parent, you can see how that plays into your life. As an entrepreneur who has a business that a lot of times starts to become like your image and who you are, how that shows up, your career and how that shows up. The truth is, perfectionism, like it's not showing love. It's not being responsible. It's not showing up in that sort of way. Like you're actually pushing the people closest to you away. You are pushing the final product that could make the greatest impact on the people around you away. You're pushing away further, trying to be perfect. I know for me, like my family felt this constant tension. I know my kids were learning that mistakes are unacceptable. Like I couldn't handle them. That love was earned through some sort of a performance. My wife like felt like nothing I was doing was ever quite right, because I always felt like I was always messing up. I was burning out, but worse, I was burning all of them out as well. And for the longest time, I told myself those high standards were such a good thing. We're about excellence. We want things to be perfect for our people, right? They show how much I care. They show how professional and responsible we are. But eventually, what you're going to learn is perfectionism isn't excellence at all. It is fear. If you are trying to be perfect, you are wearing a fear mask. I hope you realize that. You are putting on a performance, and if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you'll realize that performance mode is what causes exhaustion, burnout, anxiety, overwhelm to you and the people around you. Man, it looks like it's ambition and care, but underneath you are driving fear of not being enough, of your image, the way you're going to look to them, rather than just worrying about creating the true value that only you can create. You are the only person with your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences, meaning you are the only person who can make the impact in people's lives that you can make right now. And they're waiting for you to wake the crap up for that and start doing something about it. Like, you're just few choices in your day away from being able to do that. And I get it as a parent, as an entrepreneur, or someone working away 9-to-5. Like, you don't have all the time in the world to go burn everything down and start over. But trust me, when you start just being authentic and giving from your 80% that we're going to talk about, not worrying about being perfect, things are going to change. Well, I was spending time perfecting emails or presentations or that parenting moment or whatever. Like, I was teaching everyone around me that they're not worthy of my real self. that they themselves need to show up in that sort of a way and put the added stress and anxiety and frustration on them. And then things changed for me. And I hope they changed for you. When I started delivering from what just the authentic, more like the 80%, 90% version of me, but I was being calm and grounded and real with them, suddenly, like, people didn't notice those imperfections that I was obsessing over. They noticed my presence. They noticed that those around me were relaxed. My kids were relaxed. My relationships got lighter. My work actually made more impact because I was finally sharing instead of trying to perfect things forever. And guess what? There's tons of data and science that backs this up. Perfectionism is fear. It is. It's fear-based. And I hope this clicks with some people. There have been a lot of businesses I've worked with, a lot of entrepreneurs I've worked with, a lot of individuals that I've worked with, parents, people working in the corporate thing, leaders that don't quite grasp that concept. That being the excellence, the perfect, the image, the whatever is fear. It's not excellence driven. It's going to create a collective burnout, not just for yourself, but for those around you. At the same time, the data out there shows that if you just give 80% delivered with presence and calm, it will outperform your stressed version or the delayed 100% time every single time. Neuroscience, even, like, your brain functions this way. Perfectionism, like, it doesn't just, like, tire you out, it drains everyone around you. That's how our brains just react to that sort of a thing. So we're going to be talking about how you stop perfectionism from burning you out and all those around you out. We're going to talk about how you spot it, how you deliver at that 80% level and still make it be of value to people, and how you shift from a performance to presence mode, right? Because people don't fall in love with the perfect version. People fall in love with authentic, real connection. Weird. People don't go, like, marrying the person because they're perfect. They're real. They're authentic. They love the things about them. We want our family to love us for who we are. We want our clients to love us for who we are. Not that we're putting on some weird show for them. And so we're going to dive deep into that. I've probably already covered more than I normally do before I do an intro. If you're new here, welcome to the Giver Method channel. I'm glad you're able to be here. If you're back for another video, welcome back. Super excited to see you. And I like to cover a bunch of details, and then we start to get really tactical with the principles. So I'll invite you here in a bit to stick around a little bit longer so that we can dive into these 4 areas that you could really start making an impact in your life. But think about it. Like, do you feel like you're constantly rewriting, redoing, rechecking everything, never feeling like you're quite good enough? Do you find yourself stuck in that, analysis paralysis where you're afraid to start or finish something because it's not perfect? You're constantly iterating and changing and making updates. A lot of business owners that's true for them. Maybe you've noticed the tension creeping in your relationships. Like, your family feels like they're walking on eggshells. Your team's afraid to make mistakes. Maybe you're highlighting only the mistakes because of that. I don't know. Or maybe it's even deeper. Maybe you're believing that your work depends on the flawless performance, that people are going to not come because you don't look 100% perfect. If that hits close to home, then open your eyes, damn it. Listen to this. Normally I would say something super nice like, well, you're not broken. You're not the problem. You are the problem. I want you to understand that you truthfully are the problem right now, and you can fix it. You can change it for yourself, for your family, for your team, your employees, the people around you, your community, whatever that group may be that's closest to you, that you're showing up in that way. You can change it today. You can start making small pivots and changes that make a drastic impact. Let's just realize you're experiencing that fear masquerading around as excellence. It's burning you out. It's burning out all of those around you. And once again, I'm not talking about lowering standards. It's just raising your awareness. It's about realizing that the excellence, serves people, right? If I want to be excellent at what I do, I want to just show up in a certain way. But my excellence isn't perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfectionism doesn't serve people. It serves fear. Your gifts, they're meant to be expressed, not perfected in some sort of private. The way that you show up to people, the way you interact with people, the day-to-day conversations you have. If they feel that stress and anxiety, then they're going to show up differently for you. And you may have the best spouse in the world, the best kids in the world. You may have the best business partners, employees, team, all around you that are quietly getting frustrated and burnt out and leaving and quitting and wanting space and time apart because of who you are and how you're showing up. And I want to change that. I want you to see that you can make those small changes now, today. You know, it's designed for the people who feel stuck in that loop. If you realize you're stuck in this perfectionism loop, you know, where you feel like you're trying to do it all just right, but you're holding things together, you know, feeling like you're completely drained, then once again, these are real practical steps that are going to help you to reconnect with your authenticity and start creating from that peace instead of pressure. And if you want to dive deeper into this, that's where you'll go get yourself a copy of the GIVER Method book. I didn't say, you know, I'm Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and author of this book called The GIVER Method. Like, everything we're talking about is grounded in principles from this. There's a link in the description that you can go get yourself a copy. Right now, digital version is $2, and the physical you can get for as little as 10. Go get yourself a copy. It'll change your life. It'll change the life of those around you. People need this. Go get it. Don't be dumb. Go get yourself a copy. You could be living a totally different life by the end of the year and make 2026 the best year of your life. So go get yourself a copy off Amazon. Pause the video. Go get one right now. You know, or go follow us on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those places. You know, go to thegivermethod.com, check out our free resources like our survival assessment or our Giver roadmap that you can download. Also, just there's other things like our newsletter that you can sign up for. If you're wanting more one-on-one support for these types of things, then check out, you know, the link down below. It talks about the one-on-one coaching. And hey, if you have a podcast, an event, a stage that you're like, man, this would resonate with them, then let's talk about how we could bring it to them in a very real way. And if you haven't already, do all the YouTube things, you know, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, like the video, comment your thoughts along the way. So we've covered this topic now. Like, perfectionism is fear. You can change it. Now I want to dive deep into like how you can actually stop letting it run your life and start creating real impact through like authenticity and presence and peace. So we're going to cover those 4 areas. Like I said, I like to cover the topic, and then we're going to open up these 4 areas that are specifically designed to help you go deeper. So join me as we go through those. The first one is like, you know, excellence, like when excellence is turning into perfectionism. So we have to spot when it's sneaking in, like when that's coming into you, you know, because like it catches almost everyone. Perfectionism, it is a sneaky thing. It shows up looking like the excellence, the ambition, the caring deeply, and underneath it's the fear that we talked about. It's the fear wearing the disguise. But once you spot it, everything changes. The difference is like excellence, it is designed to serve others. Perfectionism serves fear. Excellence asks them, like, is this helpful? Does it get the job done? Does it move things forward? If so, great. Perfectionism is asks, like, what if it's not good enough? What are they going to think? What if they judge me? You know, it keeps you stuck in changing and tweaking things forever. And the thing that most people miss is like perfectionism isn't making things better. It's just trying to make you feel safe. Because most of the people out there only need the 80% version of what you're going to offer. Once you see that, you can stop fighting perfectionism, you know, by trying to put in effort and do more. Like, you just start calming the fear that's underneath it. So what you want to do is you want to build this awareness to it. But the first thing you want to do is like, we have to create the warning signs, like a list, an inventory of what they are. And so for 1 week, what I want you to do is notice these 3 like perfectionism patterns that start to show up. Okay. You know, procrastination or over preparing, never feeling ready, and then the ripple effect. And so the procrastination and over prepping, like if you're stuck in the research mode, the editing, the getting ready, like instead of doing something, ask like, what am I afraid will happen if I just share this as it is right now? You know, the never feeling ready, like you keep saying like, you know, just one more thing, then I'll start. Well, ask yourself like, what if I shared the imperfect version today? What could happen? Maybe I'll get some feedback. Maybe I'll, you know, learn something from this. And then the ripple effect, you know, your stress spills into others. Your spouse tenses up. Your kids play safe. Your team hesitates. So like, who around me feels the weight of my need to be perfect? You know, you'll probably find that all 3 are at play. From the outside, it looks like, you know, dedication. And we tell ourselves these things that we think we are. But on the inside, it feels like panic. Let that settle in. Like, there are people I wish I could talk to directly through here and be like, this is you. You're the one that's it's letting it be a panic, not an actual like excellence thing. And so after you've done that, after you ask yourself that question, you could do an energy audit. I love when people do energy audits, where you grab a notebook, you're going to create 2 columns of like energy draining and energy giving. And each task you're doing, jot down how you're feeling. Did it leave you feeling tense, restless, unsatisfied? Did it feel you leaving calm? You know, with energy or a sense of purpose. Perfectionism drains because it's fueled by fear. Even if you nail it and you get it right, the relief doesn't last. Excellence energizes you because it's fueled by the service. You know, I did something that mattered. I made a change, and that feels good. After a week, look at the totals. you're going to see that like a lot of the exhaustion isn't from working too hard. It's from over perfecting things. It's from that fear and the stressing out about the perfect when you didn't need that in the first place. And the next thing, like there's the control versus connection test. The next time that you're editing the email for the 5th time, or re-recording, redoing your presentation early in the morning, whatever it is, like whatever that thing is that you catch yourself doing, say like, am I trying to control how people see me, or am I trying to connect and create value for them? Probably going to be the control, not the connection. If it's about control, you're in perfectionism. If it's connection, then it's more aligned with excellence. Like that's just what it is. Perfectionism, that control, you're managing the perception. You're trying to avoid judgment. You're protecting yourself from criticism. You're putting other people's words into the actions that are happening because you think that's what's going to happen. That work is about you. It's about safety. It's about fear. Excellence is connection. You're focused on the service of others, solving their problems, creating the value they need. The work is about them and their transformation, not about you and that one stupid email. Like this thing, perfectionism, like it exposes it automatically. If you're going to be going through those individual things, whatever it is, write down the answers to what these are. Catch yourself perfecting. The pattern is undeniable when you do that. And then we do the pattern check. Well, I'm going to look at it and be like, well, gosh, which version sounds the most like you? The parent who rewrites their kids' homework, or the one that just lets it be messy and uses it to teach them problem solving? The leader who micromanages the slides, the issues, the things, the rocks, the whatever you want to call it, because I've worked with so many business owners and leaders that I know there's all these terms and goals and things they want to use. Is it micromanaging those things, or is it the one who trusts their team to create and to live up to their potential? Is it the entrepreneur who spends 40 hours polishing a landing page, or the one who ships it at 5 and learns from real feedback from what's happening? Circle the one that feels familiar and then ask yourself, like, what's really costing me and the people around me by doing this? You can't change what you won't name. And when you see the fear is there just pretending to be these high standards, you stop letting it run the show. Perfectionism is about control. Excellence is about connection. Connection, that's real, human, authentic, imperfect. Like it's what people are craving from you all along. That takes us into the second principle. You have to discover that done and helpful beats perfect and invisible. This is think of it this way, that 80% rule, 80% that actually lands. Because there's a lie that's been worn, that it's been worn out. It's been given to you so many times. More polish doesn't mean that it means more impact. If I get it to look that much better, doesn't mean it's going to perform better. Most of the time, the calm, present 80% beats the stress delayed 100% version all the time. Not because it's lowered standards, but because you finally shipped something that helps people. And so what you want to do is you want to look at there's like this idea of a 5-day challenge that you can do. And we're not going to talk about slacking on anything. I want you to start testing a better hypothesis that done and helpful is better than perfect and invisible. And you're going to prove to this across all parts of your life, at home and work and everywhere in between. So here's what I want you to do. You're going to create this 5-day runway where for 5 days, you're going to intentionally share something at 80% completion instead of the usual 100. You just work on building evidence, not excuses. Each day addresses a different domain. Like day 1, you're going to focus on writing. Draft the email message once, quick clarity pass, and then send, not 5 rewrites. If you're in some sort of a speaking scenario, speaking conversation, lead the meeting or conversation without the perfect script. Talk like a human would to those people. Day 3, maybe the output, hey, I'm going to post the thread, publish the blog, ship the deck, whatever it is, when it's good enough. And then on day 4, I'm going to ask. I'm going to request help without over-explaining. I'm going to let someone show up for me. And day 5 of this challenge is the relationships. I'm going to choose to be present over performance with my spouse or kid. I want to be unscripted. I just want to be fully there. Once again, the progress is what matters. You're building evidence across all the contexts that your authenticity is going to beat perfection. And now we think about the good enough gate, before you start going through those things and delivering that 80%, use this sort of a framework to stop perfecting. So question number 1, if it's do I keep going beyond this? Am I at 80%, or am I trying to get to 100? Question 1 is does this serve the core purpose? Does this email communicate the message? It's good enough. Does the presentation convey the ideas I want? Then it's good enough. Question 2, will anyone notice the imperfections that I'm obsessing over? More often than not, when you ask that question, people are like, well, I know it matters more to me. Then stop worrying about it. Stop trying to over perfect it. Most of the time the answer is like, they're not going to care. The things you think make it like not ready are absolutely invisible to other people. Go ask a woodworker to show you all the flaws in the project they made, and you look at it and you're like, that's an amazing thing. The painter that painted this amazing painting, they're like, oh, but I messed up here and I did this thing, and like, you're not going to notice it. The same thing is true with the people you're presenting things to, that you're trying to show up for with your unique gifts and superpowers. Question 3 is like, what's the cost of not sharing this today? Because every day you delay, that's somebody not being helped. That's a different version that shows up. Like, once again, if number 1 is yes, and number 3 has a real cost, then let's go ship it at 80%. That last 20% is usually fear management, not value creation. And then keep a reality log where each day when you've done this 80% delivery, like document, like number 1, like what did I share? Be very specific in what it was. I delivered this and what it was that you delivered imperfectly. In the next column, like, what did I fear would happen? If by sharing it imperfect, by sharing the 80%, what did I think would happen? And then the third column is what actually happened. And if you keep track of that, the gap in the fear story and the real outcome, man, there's a massive like change in what that looks like. I shared the email that I turned out it had a typo, maybe an informal tone. I thought the recipients were thinking it unprofessional and sloppy, but they responded warmly within an hour and didn't even mention anything about the quality. Presentation where I lost my place. I spoke, too fast. People didn't hear me. The audience judges me. The fear is that audience judges me that I'm incompetent. Really, 3 people said it was the most engaging presentation they'd ever felt and that I was extremely relatable. That social post or whatever, like that was imperfect writing or no professional image. The fear is like, no one's going to engage. People judge my low quality. The reality was like, it was one of the highest engaging posts in months. Track the gap like religiously, because it's evidence that perfection is lying to you. And then once again, the presence is always greater than the polished check-in. After you do that, was I more present because I wasn't chasing the perfect? Did people respond to my presence more than the polished? Did the people around me show up differently because we weren't pushing for that perfect moment? Watch what happens. The messy moments are usually the most like connective ones. The talk where you lost your place and people are like, oh, okay, they connect with you better in that thing. Like, it shows up in so many ways. Belief won't break perfection. Evidence will. And in 5 days, you could totally start to see that different from the landing page that you took too long to work on to just getting it shipped live, the email, the conversation with your spouse or your kids, whatever. Your 80% doesn't just outmatch, the outcomes. Like, it beats what it looks like when you're trying to be perfect because it's real, it's shared, and it invites that real connection. Which takes us into this third area, which is like your perfection to presence. Trading the tension for connection. Because perfectionism isn't just mental, it is physical. It can, like, you can truthfully feel it. There's tightness in your shoulders, there's shallow breath, there's jaw clenching, you're thinking like, man, don't mess this up or whatever. And that's when you're stuck in a performance mode, trying to deliver the perfect 100%. Your body's in a survival mode because of that, running on adrenaline, scanning for judgment, missing the moments that are right in front of you. And the irony is like, you're calm, the more grounded version, that 80%, not only does it feel better, but it performs better. Once again, you think you're chasing this excellence, but really you're chasing the safety. Presence breaks that cycle. And the goal is never to feel like you're not going to feel perfectionism. It's just to notice it, and like when it's trying to hijack you, and push more towards the present. So once again, the first thing is watch for the early clues. Once again, in your body tells you what those are. The tension, the jaw clenching, the shoulders tightening, the anxiety, the heart racing, the restlessness, the fluttering in your stomach, the control, the gripping your pen, the fidgeting, the micromanaging details of people. Whatever it is, write down those top 2 or 3 times that those are happening. What are the early clues you see in yourself? The moment that you notice it, you're going to pause. You've caught perfection mid-spin. Now you can choose differently. You can be more intentional. And then that's where you work on a presence pause, where you're going to take 60 seconds. You're going to take a few moments, and you're just going to do this is like your emergency brake for the perfectionism spirals. Like, the first thing is like, you're going to name it. Okay, hold on. This is perfectionism here. It's trying to keep me safe. Like, that tells your brain I'm in charge. Then breathe it out. Give yourself 3 slow breaths. Like, inhale like for 4 seconds and hold it, and then exhale for 4 to 6 seconds. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice 5 things around you. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you taste? What does the desk feel like? Whatever the thing may be, use your senses, and then reframe it. Okay, well, what actually matters to me? Managing the perception or creating the value? Am I chasing control or creating the connection? Who am I trying to impress right now? What would my authentic 80% look like here? Now let's choose one presence move in the meeting. Stop, monitoring yourself and listen real. If writing that email, send the draft. In parenting, get on the floor and play messy with your kids. If you're leading, admit that you don't know all the things and invite others in. That's it. Just 1 minute, one deep breath, one small shift. That's it. And track the difference. That's where things change for you. Performance mode, once again, you're going to be tight, drained, restless, never enough. Like presence, you're going to feel way more relaxed and engaged and energized and satisfied. After each day that you start doing stuff, like jot down, like, man, was I clenching or was I breathing when I was doing that? Do I feel depleted or energized after that sort of an activity? And most of us find that the perfect 100% leaves us empty, while the 80%, the good enough, the messy middle, like actually builds us up. Perfectionism isn't just a mindset, it's a nervous system like on high alert, and you have to learn to shift out of that performance mode into presence mode. You have to rewire how your body shows up in that way. You catch the early signs, and then you can do something about it. Presence, once again, we're not lowering standards, it just raises the awareness. Once you've felt the difference between tense performance and relaxed authenticity, you're never going to go back. It's deep in your body. The calm outperforms the perfect every single time. And that takes us to the fourth area, which is like, stop hiding your gifts, the things you have, until they're ready. Like, so this is about expressing your gifts, your superpowers, the things you do best in the imperfect way. Because perfectionism, like one of the biggest costs, is that it keeps the gifts, the things that are unique to you, locked up. And you've probably been sitting on something powerful, some idea, a skill, a message, telling yourself to share it when you're ready. But like the truth is, like, that's not what happens. Your gifts don't need the perfect, scenario to be powerful. They just need to be expressed. The GIVER method, like the book, all these things that's built on, like, your gifts are meant to serve people, not sit in storage waiting for some flawless execution. The world doesn't need the polished version, like your unseen potential. It needs the real, honest, and in progress version. You're the only person with your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences, which means that you're the only person who can make the impact that you can make in people's lives right now. And the sooner you wake up and realize that, the better off things will be. So let's talk about this. Now, the first thing, like what you're going to go do is think about expression versus perfection. Gift perfection is waiting until you've mastered something to put it out there for others to see. Once I'm better at this, once I figure I'm going to share, I'm going to work on it a little bit more. Gift expression is using it like what you have right now to help someone who's maybe even just one step behind you, even if it's messy and real and alive and you're learning things along the way. You grow through doing, not waiting. And then the second thing, you're going to share before you're ready. This is a challenge you want to give yourself, where it's like, hey, how do I stretch myself here? Or I'm going to pick a natural ability. Maybe you're great at simplifying complex or encouraging others. Maybe it's organizing chaos or creating beauty, whatever it is. Like, use it before you feel ready. If you're a teacher, like, you're going to record a quick 3-minute voice note explaining one thing that you learned. No script, just go. No edits, just send it. If you're an encourager, you're going to write a message to someone that needs a lift, and don't overthink the wording. Just make it real and send it. If you're a creator, share the project at 80%, the painting, the post, the design, and let it breathe into the world. If you're a problem solver, offer help for someone even if you don't have all the answers. Figure it out together. The magic is in the before you feel ready part, because perfectionism was going to whisper, you're not ready yet, and you move away. And then you're going to notice, like, the third thing is building progress through action, because like perfectionism, it will never tell you, like, you don't get better by preparing, you get better by doing. That's what it comes down to. Ask yourself, am I endlessly preparing for something instead of doing it? What would happen if I just started and learned in real time? And the spoiler is, you discover most preparation was just fear in this nice outfit. And then focus on your impact, not your image, because every time you start polishing something to death, like, ask, like, am I doing this to help someone or to impress someone? Right? If I want to make impact, it's like, well, how can I serve with what I have right now? If it's image, it's like, what are people going to think? And it stops people from taking action. One creates movement, the other creates delay. Write it out. Like, the done and helpful beats perfect every time, every single time. Imperfect contribution that exists in the world, it helps one person create infinitely more impact than perfect contribution could. And then think about the vulnerability advantage, because that's the wild thing, that, like, your imperfections are what connect you with people. I tell people all the time, you're the only person with your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences, the good, the bad, the everything in between, and the things that you mess up. When you show your process instead of the polish, people are going to relate. Pay attention. Like, if you do that, if you go out and start to do that, let's say for 2 weeks, People, like, pay attention to how people respond, in a shallow way or a more deep way. Was it because you were more vulnerable? You let people see the unfinished parts? You're going to notice that you're not ready moments, the posts, that almost didn't share, the talk that you stumbled through, like those are the ones that people remember because they felt you. Your gifts aren't meant to live in draft form. The world doesn't need perfect someday. They just need where you're at today. There are people waiting for you to realize that. So stop waiting to feel ready. Start sharing, because like the 80% emotion always outshines the 100%. Now, if we wrap this all up, the truth that we're talking about, perfectionism is not the thing you think it, like what you're trying to achieve in perfectionism is not the excellence. It is the fear dressed as high standards. Your calm 80% will always create more impact than the stressed version. You don't fall in love with perfect. You connect with real. And so just pick one of the practices we talked about this week. Catch the moment when you're is this, perfectionism pretending to be excellence? Take that authentic 80% challenge and deliver something that's good enough for 5 days. Maybe look for the pause, the presence pause check that you're going to do when your shoulders are tightening or when your breath starts to change. Or what's the one gift you want to use before it's ready? Start somewhere, start today. Like, you don't need perfect circumstances. You just need the courage to show up as your full and imperfect self. Transformation doesn't happen through control. It happens through presence and authenticity and small, brave choices that prove you're human. And that's enough. Now, if this hits home for you today and you want to dive deeper, that's where you're going to get yourself a copy of the GIVER Method on Amazon. The link is in the description. It's on sale right now. Go get yourself a copy. You go to thegivermethod.com, find all of our full resources, things like that. The GIVER Method is the framework for discovering and expressing your gifts without perfectionism holding you back. If you want one-on-one attention, look at the one-on-one coaching link below. That might be the thing that you need to help you find your purpose and to start to live in this higher level version of you. If you lead a team, have an event, a podcast, a stage, a community where this message would connect with them, then let's talk about how we could bring it to them using the speaking and podcasting link below. And of course, do the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, comment on the thing that resonated with you. Here's the thing that I want you to remember. While you're perfecting that email, that presentation, or parenting moment, you're teaching everyone around you that they're only worthy of the performed self, not the real one. And that's exhausting for everyone around you. Your spouse doesn't need perfect, they need present. Your kids don't need flawless, they need you. Your team doesn't need the control, they need the calm confidence that comes when things aren't ideal. So when you drop perfectionism, you give everyone around you permission to exhale, to be human. When relationships deepen, when creativity returns, that's when your gifts finally breathe. The world doesn't need another flawless performance. They need the messy and genuine and imperfect contribution that only you can make, because that's when it creates connection and real transformation and real impact. Your gifts, your superpowers shine brightest when they're expressed authentically with who you are, not polished. Stop burning yourself out. Please stop burning those around you out by chasing the impossible standard. Start delivering your authentic 80% with presence, peace, and confidence. Stop trying to perfect things in private. Start contributing in public. Stop performing for approval. Start connecting for real, because people who matter most to you, they don't need the perfect. They've been waiting for you to be real. And the moment that you show up that way, fully and human, fully who you are right there, that's when the true impact can begin. Hopefully there's been things you can take away from this video. Check out the other videos on the channel. Check out thegivermethod.com for more details. And hopefully we'll catch you in our next video. Have a great rest of your day.